Making the jump from flat screen to VR can be a very difficult thing to do. For every success story like Gran Turismo 7, there are also nightmares like Hitman 3 on Quest. The latest game to aim to make the jump from flat to VR is a 2022 rhythm action game called Metal Hellsinger. Developed for VR by Lab 42 with oversight from original makers The Outsiders, how does this heavy metal action game stack up as a VR release in October 2024? I'm one of those weirdos who played Metal Hellsinger and didn't like it. Now, before you attack, hear me out here. Something about the game felt off to me. I remember this feeling vividly. The rhythmic nature of the title didn't feel like the excellent Hi-Fi Rush. Yes, I'm aware Hi-Fi Rush launched after Metal Hellsinger, but that isn't the way around that I played them. Finances, time availability and such all played their part in delaying my play of Metal Hellsinger. I ended up playing it as part of PlayStation Plus in early 2024. My overwhelming feelings when I played it were that this game didn't lend itself well to the flat screen environment. The speed and precision required just felt like they couldn't be obtained with a controller. The controls themselves also felt a touch clunky to me, mostly in choice of buttons for certain actions. But I could tell that this was a good title at heart. But when I was playing it, I just wished that it were in VR. Well, my prayers have been answered. So does it fix my issues with its flat screen sister? I have a couple of personal gripes that I will come to, but overall, this is a very good VR translation of the original title. The hub world, where you choose your next level by interacting with the vinyl sleeve with your hands, is a great place to come to terms with the movement and what sort of vignetting you require, if any. The fact that you return here after every level, unlike in the original release, is a great and natural break for VR play. It allows a reset of equilibrium for those with burgeoning VR legs, a great stopping point for streamers to interact with chat, a chance to drink water and stay cool while playing, and even prompting players to take a break who maybe wouldn't otherwise. Overall, a wonderful, considerate and responsible design decision. The settings within this hub world are a nice interactive, game lore accurate version too. You walk over to the bookshelf on the right and pick up the book that corresponds to the settings that you want to change. This book sits in the hand that you picked it up with, and you use the other one to adjust as required. I really like the in-game manner that this is handled. But as with all VR settings menus that use point controls, getting an accurate result once the cool interactivity has worn off is nigh impossible. We have precise controllers in our hands with analog sticks and all appropriate input buttons. VR developers, please just let us adjust settings as easily as in flat screen games. This whole pointing and hoping just isn't it. And it is enough to turn someone off the game completely when they can't set it up as they require. If you can get the settings correct though, once you select your level and walk through the portal in the hub world, more often than not you are greeted with a cutscene. This is one of my personal gripes with the game. Every cutscene plays out the same as in the flat screen version, but reshot for VR. What this actually means is that you watch the cutscene play out from a specific position that you cannot change, with huge breaks where the camera cuts are in the original. For me, this made all cutscenes lose their impact. Let's take the very first cutscene as an example. This is it in the original. This is actually really impactful and gives you an idea throughout the cutscene of how badass the character you are playing as is. The picking up and dispatching of this demon is swift and efficient, and you witness that. Now this is that same moment in VR. My vantage point seems to be up on a rock at the side of the path. The actual events play out in the exact same manner. But because I am locked in this position, the impact is lost. You don't see the emotion of the unknown. You don't see the fear of the demon nor the efficiency of the dispatch. It is also incredibly clunky, because everywhere that there should be a camera cut, the mannequins just sort of pause and then start again. This makes these cutscenes longer than they need to be, which, when coupled with that terrible viewing angle, which in later cutscenes means that you actually miss what is going on completely, makes me wish they had just put the original cutscene in the game. It would tell the story better, be more impactful, and get the player into the action much quicker. As it is, the cutscenes are very much a weak point of this release. Once you're past those cutscenes though, the game is hella good fun. Movement is primarily on the left stick, and with a high frame rate that seems somewhere between 90 and 120 frames per second to the naked eye, the movement is incredibly smooth. Even with the right stick set to snap turn, there's no jerkiness, sharp transitions, or lower frame rate animations, which in turn means no motion sickness. Swordplay is fluid and precise, and much easier to get on beat than in the flat screen version, especially when you're just head-banging to the music anyway. Which likely does explain some of the blurry footage in this video, so sorry about that one. Shooting is incredibly precise one-handed, but takes a step to another level when playing two-handed. There are ultimate moves for certain weapons that unleash massive power, and some really cool and unique reloads like on Persephone here, a slug shotgun type gun that you reload with a flick of the wrist to lock the barrel back in place. It all just makes you feel badass. Because all of this feels so natural, the swinging of the sword with a swing of the arm, the aiming of the projectile weapons by aiming your hand, even the crow, which does crow things, there is a much higher sense of satisfaction in this version of the game, because you yourself are doing it. The first boss was an amazingly satisfying fight, and there were moments where I thought I was going to lose it because I mistimed my reload. But when I then pulled it out of the bag with some Matrix-esque leans in my living room, I felt so rewarded for coming through. That's not to say that the game is mechanically flawless. Take that Persephone mission, for example. To swap weapons, you press your right stick in and move your hand over the weapon that you want to then equip. Except, pressing the stick in during that mission did nothing. So I had to complete the entire thing with just the shotgun. It worked thereafter, and when replaying that mission. But that first playthrough was hampered by mechanics simply not working. Some of the button options are a little squiffy too, just like in the original release. Execute, for example, is on square, which is on my left hand, and requires me to take my thumb off of the movement stick, mid-frantic battle, to press it. Surely R3, like the original release, makes more sense here to keep a solid mechanical flow? Speaking of R3, that is in use in the game, but again causes challenges. R3, as previously mentioned, is your weapon select. You have to press and hold it to bring the menu up. But swapping mid-combat often results in turning at the same time. This is because the right stick is responsible for both turning and weapon select, two vital and regularly used actions throughout the entire game overlap. These are minor things that do unfortunately impact the entire flow and responsiveness that you can exercise in the game. It seems like proper thought was not offered to something as fundamental as which buttons do what and whether they cross over and cause challenges. Bringing it back to the positive though, I will say that there seems to be some great implementation of PSVR 2's foveated rendering in the PlayStation release. That is totally visible in the footage that you are watching. It seems incredibly harsh compared to something like Horizon Call of the Mountain when watching footage back. But it means that the player experience is all the better for it, maintaining those higher frame rates and resolutions where you are currently looking. It works superbly. During my time in the headset, I thought the game looked excellent throughout with high quality models and animations. It is only in playback that I noticed this fact. Superb implementation. The story, while slightly hampered by those aforementioned cutscenes, is the same as the original release. That means it isn't groundbreaking, but it is perfectly adequate and satisfactory. It's the gameplay that you hang around for. And from my experience, it is totally worth hanging around for. It's natural, smooth, fast-paced, and mostly intuitive in spite of those button choices mentioned earlier. There are 4 levels of difficulty for every mission, ranging from Lamb to Archdevil. I played on Goat, because that means greatest of all time, and I won't hear any arguments to the contrary despite it being the second lowest or normal difficulty level. I can see myself returning though for an additional challenge of Beast difficulty and channeling my not-so-inner metalhead even further. There's also additional torments on replays. Essentially, additional challenges within a level that, if completed, allow you to unlock gameplay buffs called sigils. These offer everything from preserving killstreak combos to increasing damage and fury on perfect hits, to allowing your ultimate to slowly charge by itself, allowing it to be used far more often. They will make that platinum trophy grind far less of a grind if you are good enough to unlock them. The biggest takeaway by far, though, is that Metal Hellsinger VR is fun, and a lot of it. The fun is so great that even the gripes that I have with the game pale into insignificance when measured up against it. It made me want to play more of the game throughout my review. It makes me want to play more after it. It's a good game, and one that I will definitely be returning to. This review was produced after completing the campaign on Metal Hellsinger VR via a review key offered through the key service keymailer linked below. Neither Lab42, The Outsiders, or Funcom, the developers and publishers of the game, know this video is being made. They get no copy approval of this video, get no early previews or input, and provided no compensation for the video creation. If they do see it, they will see it for the first time, right alongside you. I would like to thank you all very much for tuning in. If you've liked this video, I think these will also be of interest to you. In the meantime, my name is Doragon. You can find me on Threads at Doragon86 or in the Discord in the description below. And until next time, folks, have yourselves a fantastic day, and take care.